the day that he died. We were hot and exhausted and our lungs worn out, fighting for our rights. The powers that be were breathing down our backs and we cried out. And he heard us, yeah, he heard us. 68, we rushed the gate, we welcome you to the new America. 68, we rushed the gate, we welcome you to the new America. Welcome you to the new America. To the new America. With a 22 caliber shotgun down, hanging at his side. Took away our man in Washington, but he can't take our pride. We cross our hearts and pray to the Lord his soul to keep. And we keep marching, keep marching, keep marching. 68, we rush the gate, we welcome you to the new America. 68, we rush the gate, we welcome you to the new America. Bobby cannot, he never dies, he lives in our hearts. He lives in our hearts. Bobby cannot, he never dies, he lives in our hearts. He lives in our hearts.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another matchup, the 10 o'clock one. We started a little late than usual. I am usually on time, but don't worry, I got my friend Graf the Giraffe with me. Ohio boys are back, and we're here for the Conestoga matchup. I'm excited for this one. We're getting right into it. Let's flash the maps and modes, break it down, Graf. What we got tonight?
Oh, this is going to be an incredible series. I mean, I came in here early, even though Corpse was here for the first series. But let's talk about the maps that we have real quick before we hop on into the Blackheart Hardpoint. It is going to be a high-octane, fast-paced map. Then you're going to be loading on into the Den Search and Destroy, followed up by an Exposure Overload, a Scar Hardpoint for map 4, and then a Colossus if we go the distance to a map 5, because both of these teams coming off of a hot 3-0. It's really anybody's with a win.
It really is anybody's. Your Ohio COD is going to be in a beige color. We're going to be mixing it up for this one, so it's a little bit easier on the eyes, everybody. Conestoga going to be rocking the black. And honestly, Blackheart, I'm excited for it. Neb trying to find stuff early on. Early contest time. Only 2 points for Ohio.
And inside of Conestoga, they came away with a map 1 victory in their last series on Blackheart to kick it off. They got it done 250 to 106, so they are always going to be ready to chow out on this one. And then on the side of Ohio, they came out with a solid victory in their own right. So these are 2 incredibly fast-paced hardpoint teams. It's kind of just who's going to be able to find their holds a little bit more frequently.
Yeah, I'll tell you this much. TJ Sways, he was phenomenal in the search. Already phenomenal in the respawn. 6-1 on the 3-3. Proby picking up the flank. He finds 2, and he was the all-star that we were talking about all last year. Started off the first series. He was phenomenal on a Colossus. Can he chain that into another fast-paced map?
Yeah, Broby's the fan favorite of the Ohio COD boys, and talking to him before the first series kicked off of the night, I was like, you know what, I want to see you be a little bit more consistent. He had these superstar moments, but then he would sometimes go on a slump. He would go on a 1-7 spree, and that's not what you're looking for. And sometimes with your entry subs, obviously you can't all have great games, but you want to see a little bit more consistency. And you were talking about the man TJ Sways. He's the new guy in the roster for the side of Ohio, and he's already fitting like a glove, but Mince dealing down the damage for the side of Conestoga.
They are indeed. 17 seconds left. It's going to be a P2, P3 chain that Ohio are setting up for early. He was in the backside spawns, but he's just going to be a nuisance on the front side of this hill. However, Conestoga, I'm going to mess their name up all night. Conestoga, it don't really matter. Sticks and stones, they may break your bones, but the boys from Canada already trying to find an early break.
They are, and it feels like the captain savvy after coming off of a great 3 spree in the opening P1. He hasn't been able to feel comfortable with his pushes, but the man Frizzards of Oz, I absolutely love the name, because he is going high, and guess what, like he's in a tornado himself, but he is dealing down the damage here, and a great break from the side of the Conestoga boys as they're starting to get a little bit of time here over towards the P3.
Yeah, and that was Hazy that tried to enter right there. He shot one person, but maybe thought he was going to leave it up to his teammates. TJ Sways trying to just contest time. Zukonix with a big 2, but now you're flying out. Hazy into the front is able to find 1, not the second. The follow-through doesn't roll through, but the teamwork and the team support is there. After 3 hills of a Blackheart, we are tied at 50. There is going to be somewhat of a discrepancy in the scoreline, but it's only 7 points to separate both squads. And now TJ, he's going to try and find a chain. I'll tell you what, Graf, Blackheart, haven't seen much of it. It came into the map set after like the first online minor or somewhere around the middle stage of the season. It was there, and I like it. It was mixy, but now people are starting to figure out how to play this map. And what are the hills that you're focusing on?
Yeah, the hills that you're absolutely going to be wanting to lock down is this one that you currently see on your screen, and then the P2. I think every single hill you can essentially hold for a full 60, and kind of when you see teams really start to take that next step on the map is locking down the P1s. After those early breaks, and if you get a clean 3 or 4 dead from the P5 to P1, it is so easy to lock down that time, and because you are essentially just sticking together as a squad. You have one player kind of guarding that outside lane, and it's all about the communication, because on a map like Blackheart, it can get mixy.
It can indeed, especially around this 5th and final hill, which not many do. And now you're going to be playing this at a parallel state. It's one that is very hard, but it has to come on this long flank. TJ trying to watch it down. He isn't able to do just that. Almost a turn and burn out of Savvy there, but it's Zuconix that's able to pick up the trade, and now they're in through the backside. They might have back spawn. Hazzy knows this. He's trying to pick up the middle of the map because of the people spawning out behind him. He's able to at least find one, and now it's a condensed turtle setup out of the side of Ohio Cop.
Yeah, it's condensed, but you're still winning all the gunfights here. As soon as I say that, Broby's the last remaining member. He takes down Mince, but being one shot, you're going to clean it up. Unfortunately, nobody's hopped into the hill, and you kind of got to give this one up. But a quick pinch come in from the Frizzer of Oz, comes through, finds one player towards the middle. You get a clean 4 dead. Mince, every time we go to his POV here, of course, it feels like he's getting a double.
He does indeed. Savvy, one of the more familiar names from this roster that me and you both know. He's sitting at 12 and 11 and the captain on a 4 spree. Can he find anything late? Does he see Zuconix right there? But it's Zuconix that's get the better of him with the laydown spot. And I mean, as much as this map has been close and at times Conestoga has had the kill feed going their way, it's still Ohio COD that are up about 20 points or so. Hazzy sitting in the middle of this rotating disc, not able to find much, but it's the teammates that clear the board. And again, Ohio gonna mount up for their setup.
And they should be able to secure a little bit of time. Yeah, you got the clean 4. Unfortunately, Hazzy gets caught out, and then Broby sitting in towards the middle, and some awkward timings all the way across the board, but Zuconix ready for it. You get 3, make it the 4. Zuconix holding down the deep lane, and do you decide to try to hold this for the final 20, or are you playing for the rotation? As it's going to be the Prisoner of Oz, unfortunately not able to do it as TJ Sways playing the deep back. Can he catch out another? But it's Broby there for the assistance. They play the rotation beautifully and full map coverage.
Yeah, this is going to be a phenomenal one and a great time to find the 4 dead when it mattered most. And Hazzy just going to lurk in the middle of the map. You got Broby watching the flank. Such an odd spot for a Slayer to be sitting, but he is able to find the kills. And I like that. Position the man that has had the most impact in the kill feed on the longest route to where the most members are hitting it from Conestoga. Has he able to find a double? And again, that's just your smart placement out of Ohio COD on their setups.
Yeah, they've been having some great ones, but unfortunately, they kind of lose the back spawn, and I was going to say that a tad bit early. They had too many players pushed out towards middle and not enough towards the deep back, and you get a break at 30 seconds, so what a massive moment inside of Conestoga using their teamwork. You have one player on the hill, the nades, they are going to land and connect, and as soon as you got a break, you get broken right back down the final 15 over to the side of Ohio.
We knew this was going to be a battle of attrition, nutrition on map 1 for a Blackheart, and maybe it's going to come down to this for Conestoga. If they get broken here, that might be their hearts left in pieces. As Conestoga has a nice setup with Nev through the middle of the map, he's able to find one. A trade does roll through. A Hellstorm being infested from Broby to break this hill, and that's 3 dead in the feed. Through the front side you go. However, back spawns are there from Conestoga, so they will have a response. What will the remaining member do off spawn? Savvy maybe trying to find something with a little bit of peek and a jiggle, gets back down to the nades. Your teammates are falling. Where are the trades? Frizzer of Oz in through the side of the hill. Big 1v1, and it's Neb that's able to clear the board as well. Back into this Ohio COD. Has some presence, but that is the one last remaining member, and now you may reset.
A bit of miscommunication there from the side of Ohio. Zuconix thinking a player was coming in through mid and didn't get the call up. The push was front, but you are still making this one a tad mixy as you get at least the final 15 for the side of Conestoga, and they are slowly chipping away. And this is a map here, Corpse, that you can absolutely rally back at any single moment, and you can chain a lot of these hills together. And
we all know Kaisen's land, whenever Optic did to Paris Gentlemates on this map, it has lived rent-free. I was going to say Conestoga through that late P3 stretch, they obviously with them getting that late break, they were late to the rotation, but they single-handedly find the kills and the break, so they're in there like swimwear. However, Ohio COD with the instantaneous right hook right back, it's TJ and Zuconix that find their own kills, and they're right back in there.
That was all TJ Sways. As soon as 3 players went down, he actually slid out front, and it left kind of a split moment for the side of Conestoga. One went onto the hill, one thought that he backed all the way up, and then he gets the kill, and TJ is going off as he is on 6 in a row. He's earned the cruise, and that could be the final nail in the coffin to hold Zuconix. Oh no, runs out of ammo and gets put in the dirt.
Well, the one hope is that it comes down to a P5. You're down 90 in the rotate. You got 18, no, you got 16 points of wiggle room left to play for Conestoga. The setup has to be picture perfect. There are two people that are going to be hitting the flank. Mince has a lot to deal with, put tags into both, and now you're going to reinvest. Another Hellstorm being put in, though, from TJ. Can he find anything here for a much-needed break? But it opens up lanes on the front side. Zukonix into the front side of this hill isn't able to find much. Savvy starting to come alive a little bit late, and you're able to clear the flank. So that's a huge, great job to at least assemble some sort of control here.
Yeah, you staved off the push for just a moment, and you need to win at least one more gun by Savvy. Needs to take the chow, gets one, and then the Prisoner of Oz through the middle of the map, and this is best case scenario because you have so many layers of defense, and yeah, number 6 is going to turn around, but everything is turning to the side of the Conestoga, and this is one of those moments that they can pull this off. It's the Prisoner of Oz. Give this man, he's clicking his heels together.
Yes, they have flipped the spawns. Much indeed needed. Neb having to watch the window side of things. They are here, but everybody from Ohio gonna come in all different angles and all different sizes. Broby from up top finds 2 and the 3rd. The much needed break gets the ace, and that's Broby nailing the coffin, dagger in the heart. Ohio COD looking to take map 1 here.
Oh, the Broby fans, you hear them. Let them sing out because that should be enough for the victory. You can play the trades, but when you just pop a 4-piece, that is demoralizing. And Broby, game, set, match, map 1 to Ohio.
Oh my days. What a thriller it was right there. And this young man, late in the series, late in the match, 33 and 24. Why not put it on the best play of the game? Hey, there's another college COD. We're coming. Ohio takeover.
My goodness. I mean, you get to take a look at that final stat line, and it's everything that you kind of want. You have 3 players who are dealing 3,500 damage all the way across. Zukonix, he was kind of taking a back seat, making sure he was playing for the rotations, the spawns were secured, but down on the other side, it was Mince, it was Frizzard of Oz, who were really kind of causing some issues for the side of Ohio, but simply they got broken on too many hills, and Ohio was able to capitalize.
Indeed, they were. And the Bobcat boys from Athens County, well, they're going to go up 1-0 in the series. And, I mean, we knew it was going to be a thriller. It was a rotation where Conestoga, the Condors, started taking you by surprise, and they were able to chain the what was it? I think the P5 to P1, but it was just one too many lanes to worry about, and that's what Blackheart is. There's just, like, you can mount the comeback, but with how the map is, one too many lanes, I don't know, especially when it comes down to P1, like everybody kind of overturns and overwatches each other's. So like, especially Condors right there, wanting to know and wanting to help their teammates may have bit them in the butt.
It kind of came through with some of these moments where you wanted to come in and you weren't able to get those trades. It was a lot of doubles on the side of Ohio, and I think if you mitigate that here in the following maps, you're going to find yourself in a good spot. And what a way to kind of change up the pace as you're going into a den, and this is a map you are also comfortable with. If you're the side of the Condors, a 6-3 in the previous series, but also I think it was a 6-1 for the side of Ohio. So they are squaring up on essentially the same 2 maps for their previous series and saying, hey, we are going to try to be the better squad in this one. But Den, this has kind of been the staple here, Corpse, and it's because it's a simple 3-lane. There's not a whole lot of fugaze in this one because it's a lot of straight-up gunfights and just playing with the teamwork.
However, there is one thing to note. Snipers have the biggest impact on a lot of these straight lane matchups and of these straight lane maps. And we saw it in the first series. Zukonix was able to shut down Ashland a couple of times. Marty on the flip side was able to find some big clutch kills to put their team on top in numbers. So you have to worry about who's going to have the boomstick. Another thing to worry about, though, is just the pop-off potential. It seems to be even greater this year for Ohio COD. I mean, we talk about it. Broby started out the S&D phenomenal, but it was TJ Sways when it mattered most. Let me tell you, the ace with 12 seconds left in a round is phenomenal. I
still don't believe it.
Dude, you'll have to go back and watch it. I'm going to pull it up for you after this. But that happened, and then also Big Z, Zukonix, making himself known as the sniper for this squad as well. He's able to do some good work. I will have to ask you, Graf. Coming into this den, though, it's good to see Ohio play a squad like this early on. Last year, we got to see them kind of build their confidence, and they played a lot of weaker teams in their division. And then once they played those tougher matchups, when that actually mattered, then kind of was like a deal breaker for their record and getting into like regionals and nationals. They were kind of like they flatlined, and I'm interested to see like where you think Condor fits in the matchups compared to like last year.
And I think there's been a lot of shakeups in the college COD, right? There's so many different teams that kind of there was more over towards the Midwest and the East Coast, and I think Condor, when you look at them as a whole, they're an overall solid roster, and I think it's because of how well they're able to have that chemistry and play together as a squad. And when you have a captain like Savvy, you're relying on him to kind of be that IGL and really set the pace and set the tone for the teams, because we obviously don't know what kind of goes on behind the scenes, what their scrims are looking like. But from what we have seen in the previous years and in that previous series, they are an awfully formidable squad, and it's just a matter of making sure that they click and mesh at the right moments, especially in those respawns, because you saw they came out swinging and then they kind of petered out towards the middle, and then that's where the side of Ohio was kind of able to take over.
They were able to take over indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, we're seeming to have some issues with the host or connection maybe. So, COD things as usual. Stay tuned. Map 2, Den Search upon us.
Real cool. Yeah, I think it's real cool. Yeah, I think
you say in the mornings when I wanna you. Yeah, I hit you like what you say. I could you all the time. I could you all the
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Sorry, had to flash us for our beautiful faces for a moment, and now we're back into this matchup. This map 2 on a Den Search. It's already looking to be a banger, and there might be some okay, nope. They're just switching sides.
They're just making sure that everybody is on the correct spots, and they all do load in quite quickly, and immediately it's going to be the side of Ohio that just is pushing over towards this B site. But quickly, 2 members are ready there for the side of Conestoga, as Hazzy, it kind of feels like him and Broby returning after last season. They are so much more comfortable in their roles and how they play off of each other.
Yeah, however, the setup out of Conestoga is just relying on the Frizzard of Oz. TJ found the first blood, and that is a great one to find because it was on back dojo. Frizzard still lying here in the middle of the map, and I don't know about that play. Nobody had eyes on mid. You just chow if you're TJ, and to me, that was just a throw of a life of the way.
And you can't be throwing the life of the way, and if you're being TJ Sways, you want to be the TJ in the CDL, but Hazzy just gets aggressive, and You've taken over the B site, but you decide to wrap this one in number 8. Frizzard of Oz, the man's awareness is 10 out of 10, and then unfortunately didn't see the first player cross. And I think if he knew that was going to be a 1v2 situation going his way, but now you're looking at the man Neb. Does he have the ice in him?
He just tried to get to the timing better. Neb on the backside. Well, he's going to be a little nub of a rock sitting right there by the dragon, and that's going to be the early lead for Ohio COD in this map, too. Just a great job out of Ohio to get the first blood, and especially in that 3v3 to recognize, hey, we're going to push out Dojo, right? Because we at least knew the early information that there was 2, and then when we finalize that kill, that gives us an opportunity, a little escape route to go to maybe hit that rotation.
Has he being the focal point as well, and I think once he pushed forward and got that player in a 1v1, obviously it's a difficult situation to kind of call out in a delicate one at that, because if you go down in that moment, you leave your teams kind of isolated and nobody's able to come away with the trade. But we go right over to Zukanis with the sniper in hand, and Hazzy once again grabbing the blood and getting out. So frustrating, and now TJ Sways gets active as well, and Ohio already a 4v2.
Yeah, TJ loves to play through the middle of the map here on Den. He has to be more careful, though. Against tougher opponents, he will get first blooded, and usually they rely on this setup. It's a lot of 2-2s or maybe like a 2-1-1 and play off of info from TJ. And I got to see him early against Ashland. He did get blooded a lot, so that's the one weak point on their setup. They will have to make minor adjustments too, but early on, you don't have to worry about that, and the bomb's going to go down A. You have cleared B. TJ has the timing on Savvy, and he's able to gun him at range, and now Neb again all alone. Can he find the timing here to rewrap?
Should be able to catch him out. He does. One onto Broby, but a 1v3 with 20 seconds left. You're not really liking your odds, not liking your chances, but you start to kind of team up, group up in Ohio. They don't let that one slip through the fingers, as they were having a little bit of versatility in that one. Once they found their opening, they kind of spread the map, which I think is an ill-advised, an ill-advised moment, but they're feeling confident in just being able to take their ones at the moment.
They are indeed. They are indeed. Bold, brave, and ferocious is what they live by. That's their motto. And now Hazzy, flawless so far without a death, is going to look to carry that streak, as it is 2-0 early lead for Ohio. And this time, this is what they did again against Ashland. I didn't love it. A 3-1 split with the bomb all by itself.
It's a risky move, absolutely risky, because you are relying on that player in Broby to find that individual kill, but you are still kind of not stacked up on top of each other. And number 8, Frizzard of Oz, I'm not sure if he got spotted by Broby. I think he did, and he's not able to come away with the kill, so they waited for the pinch. Now it's up to TJ Sways to kind of escape and make sure he doesn't throw away his life. But it looks like Broby's like, hey, everything's clear over here, but they should be able to catch out another towards the middle. Mintz gets caught on the cross.
Now both players split for the side of Conestoga. Savvy, going to be the main man of the evening. What does he find here on Dojo? He's just playing the close corner till his teammate gets to his aid. And now that Neb is here, bomb goes down. Everybody has vacated for Ohio. They're just going to wait till they run into you. And I mean, it's clean house.
They're in takeover mode right now, Corv. It feels like they are just walking through the roster of the Condors, because everybody's caught out in these individual 1v1 moments, and I think you just need to get a first blood on the board. Conestoga, they just haven't found any sort of success. You've been putting constant 2v3s, 2v4s, and that's not going to be it. I think in this next round, stick together, push a site, 4-man send it, just to get a little confidence underneath your feet.
Confidence is what you need in a surge to make the impeccable comebacks. Everybody knows that it also comes from a nasty turn on and a nasty snap that Neptune is always able to put on. If you were tuning into the major yesterday, well, I'll tell you this much. Who's going to be that nasty snap from Conestoga? Frizzard, going to be the front man. Early information gets sought out. How many did you see if you were broke? He peeks the outside. He's able to find one. The second isn't there, so a nice response to make this a 3v3.
If he was full health, he probably comes away with that kill, but not quite at it yet in number 3. Coming back for the assistant Zukonix. Wow, he is really just risking his body on the left side as number 6. I think Savvy, I'm not sure if he got a spot on him, but I think he did, and they're going to try to challenge that outer player, and yep, Zukonix should get caught out. He does, not the best positioning. TJ Sways checking his corners, puts it into the 2s.
However, there was so much time wasted right there. The bomb finally gets down, however, so they didn't feel confident to put it down. Only just 5 seconds ago, Neb able to find a big one. Hazy, 1v2, able to solidify the first flawless victory. It doesn't roll through, and it's Conestoga that is able to find the first round. And we talked about confidence. Is it going to roll through?
And that was big moment for the man in Neb because he came away with 2 clean kills in that round, making sure that he was able to finish off the last player. And Hazy, as you get to see his body go ragdoll and fall to the ground, and Hazy doing his best Duffy impression, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
because
yeah,
Duffy was an absolute S&D guru. He would have some kills and almost no deaths, and Hazy's picking up that torch.
I love how you pointed that out because our man Duffy, bro, he was such a fun one to talk to. And the respawns, he knew he wasn't able to keep up, but in the search, man, it was his highlight. And you gas him, you could just tell, like, from the monitor, from the screen, a smile crept across his face. However, a smile's going to go across Neb as he finds the first blood with the nade.
Neb currently 5 and 3, 4 in a row. Yeah, 2 players who are combining for an 0-8. Mintz gets tagged up, has to kind of go back to his teammate, get a little bit more support. But the Frizzler Vaz, this guy, if there's one player that can pop off, it's absolutely him. And he goes in and takes down TJ Sways, takes a few extra bullets, but Broby there for the trade, and now it's a 1v2. And the Broby fans, do you believe in your boy as he gets tagged up? And this should be an overwhelming numbers as Conestoga. They don't let him escape, don't let him hit the regen, and back-to-back rounds, they're looking great.
You are able to put the Lion in some sort of a corner. And when we talked about how good this team was, they beat Eastern Michigan, which is a solid squad coming into this year as well. I'm pretty sure Eastern Michigan has 3 returning players, so, and they beat them 6-3 on Den. And you're looking at this matchup. It's not over just yet. These Condors, they know what grit is, and it's Neb who had a couple big 1v1s early on, lost them, while he's back on the 5 streak.
You just kind of want to get maybe 1 or 2 more kills, but Broby, he's just fully sending it, and I don't know how I feel about that play, just thinking he can maybe catch a timing, and it's not there. And once again, Conestoga coming in with some first blood. They're right back on their business. Frizzler Vaz escapes. You have the team chels. And now you're just finding these opening battles going your way for the side of the Condors. But Hazy has the support of 1 more player next to him. And they might be able to pull off a 2v3. But TJ gets bad timing. Should get shot in the back. Or does he? Does he turn and rip him? He doesn't. As they tried to go hunting, but not quite able to find the kill.
The damage was there. Hazy able to spot out Mintz again. TJ and Hazy, this duo going to try and work. It's all up to TJ now. He's going to be the aggressor in this gunfight. He's going to try and take it with the Jaeger. It's a hopping mouse inside of a trap, and it's Condors that are able to flip the script. 3 unanswered. We're tied up.
I think you're playing a little too loose there. If you are Ohio, you're just trying to get 1 player pushed forward, and yeah, sometimes it works in the early round, but once the team starts to wisen up, you can tell the Condors, they've made those mid-round adjustments, and this is where teams begin to thrive. You've learned against your opponent's ways, and it's just a matter of being able to counter them.
Neb on the 7 has the Hellstorm. What this does on a Den is incredible because it opens up every bomb site, at least for the most part, and advancements through the whole map. Can you use it nicely if you're Neb? An interesting talking point is Savvy on a donut cam, and his teammates have brought this back. So, I mean, you talk about the captain of the squad being irrelevant map 2, and they're still having a fighting chance.
You can't get caught out in the middle here. Broby knows he has to get pushed forward. He has the help of 1 of his teammates. It's an awkward 2-2 split. It's all a matter of what does Neb and Savvy find. Savvy is holding that D flank. He's making sure Neb can not get pushed in through the statue side, through the spawns, and I think Broby maybe got a good look at him, and unfortunately Neb kind of backs up a little bit too far. Now you have the reinforcements. That is an open site for a plant.
It is indeed. However, trying to get to that A bomb site, Frizzard was able to find a trade, so he makes it a 3v3, and now the deep flank is going to commence. How much time does it take, though, is the question. Frizzard is just going to run free. That number 8 arrow on the minimap, you are watching it if you're TJ, but again, he gave it up too late. Our men too early. This is going to be Frizzard with a freebie in the making, and now Broby left all alone in a 1v3. He finds the first. Can he dance? Can he make a little bit of love? But it's minced meat on garlic. That sounds disgusting.
So
I don't know what that was.
Minced meat on garlic. I think it meant minced garlic going on in to the absolute stew, because it is cooking. It is boiling right now for the side of Conestoga. They have flipped the script, won 4 rounds in a row, and you completely called it. You just have to trust in your teammates to hold that front. You had everything in the palm of your hand in Zuconix. As soon as he gave it up, guess what? It was a pinch. You go down, and even if you don't, even if you spot out that player and don't die, it at least gets it to a 2v2, and you have all the information of where the remaining players are.
Now, I will tell you this much. Ever since the turnaround, Conestoga has been, like, blind countering this OU squad so well, and now Hazzy just going to shoulder. He's going to be protecting the sniper of Zuconix. Has already sent out 3 shots. An early smoke. Detonates are going to roll through. Middle of the map is clear. The information is going to be provided. This is a B hit, a full B hit. The smoke is going to clear. Frizzard, are you going to see him through the shadows? The Wizard of Oz is not able to hide himself any longer.
And Zuconix somehow comes away with the snipe, as I believe Wizard of Oz just walks right into the yellow west. Zuconix, he just goes in, he sends it, and now he puts TJ Sways in a 1v2. I'm not sure if they have that information, but the Wolfpack mentality is there. And TJ, what kind of time does he find? And unfortunately, not great one. 5 in a row for Conestoga.
Yeah, it was just unfortunate. Both players held up. I was going to say, who's going to pump the brakes? Is it TJ through top window, or is it the players of Neb and Savvy, if I'm not mistaken, that are going to slow down and just play those cruddies? And they do just that. They're able to secure a map point. What a turnaround. 5 unanswered. Just being able to combat the power that OU threw at you early in this search.
Yeah, Neb is having an absolute godsend of a map. 10-4. The man is on one, and guess what? Yep, he's going to use the cruise. He's going to try to secure it, and you are essentially all out in the open. What do you find? And now here comes the call. And everybody has to sit inside, and oh, good Lord, this is a scary moment. What do you do here if you are number 2? Do you find any kills with this one? Neb, and he thread the needle. Absolutely. Sways goes down. The 2v4, this one should be over.
Yeah, I mean, pigs in a cows in a kennel, pigs in the pen. Do what you want,
Cows
condors.
in a kennel?
I don't know, man. Look, don't call me out. I'm trying. That was a bad one. So was the mincemeat on garlic. Look, you ain't gotta call me out on all my bad ones.
I'll call you out on that one after a few. But my goodness, you know who's probably laughing right now? It's Conestoga. They're like, you know what? These guys are just running at us, and all they're going to do is fall right into our lap. And as soon as that cruise missile was sent into the air, you had no idea what you were going to do in that situation if you were the side of Ohio. And guess what? We got a good series on our hand, tied at 1.
Tied at 1, and we're going to at least another hard point deeper in the series. You don't get to see many maps this Ohio squad puts together because a lot of series are 3-0s. Again, going back to last year, they dominated when they should, and they were 3-0s as well. A lot of their losses were 3-0s, and it's just going to be so. I think it's such a value to play a squad like this early on in the series that the Condors have put together to test you in these late series to really put together some reps that a lot of these college boys aren't able to get on their daily lives. But that's not the question. That's not the question and answer. It's exposure overload, and what will you have to do on this map to win it, Graf?
The exposure overload is all about that chemistry and teamwork because there are squads, even though the title's been out for what 2 or 3 months, it feels like teams are still trying to get a feel for it and how to play it correctly. And there is a large skill gap on how you play because it's all about getting pressure towards one site. If you allow a single member to slip through and completely clear out a zone for the enemy opposition, you are going to say, hey, wrap this one through mid because I'm at least going to find 1 or 2 free picks. You have a lead blocker who's kind of, being that player who's going to be able to stop that initial force, that initial wave, and then allow your player who's carrying the bomb to come on in and get that score. So overload, it's not anything novel, but you have to figure out how you want to operate around the map.
That is true. That is true. Another thing about this though is like this is one of the maps that you see a low scoring game on. I mean, we've seen
Ooh.
some pretty high ones, but exposure overload just due to the nature of the zones and having them so deep on the map, I feel like it's like okay, Scar and Den are like, you have to go through 2 waves of gunfights to score. No, exposure's like 4, 5, maybe sometimes 6, and you're just like the last bastion, guts from Berserker. You're like, dude, how many guys do I got to kill before this is put in there?
It's all about prioritizing the route that you want to take, and it is a patient game. But as soon as you find those opening 2 kills, if you have that one site open, completely full out sprint there, transition across the entire map if you have to, because you have that member who's going to be a nuisance and shooting the enemies in the back and just saying, hey, they got all their eyes on me, get some pressure up through middle, or just go all the way to the right or to the left, whichever site is going to be your choosing. It helps a tremendous amount to allow a person to get pushed up in the enemy spawn.
It does indeed. And again, looking at the rest of this series, it's a Scar hardpoint and a Colossus S&D. So you're getting a little bit of everything across this whole series. I mean, a fast hardpoint. I would say a 50-50 search on the Den when it comes to pacing. Overload for exposure has 50-50, a little bit of everything as well. Knowing when to change the pace is another aspect, especially on overload. When to, get those quick counters, when to really push the pace of a 4 dead. But also, you're going to have to slow things down when it comes to a Scar in terms of rotations and making sure you have them, as well as when it comes to your breaks. And a Colossus S&D gets amped up at the end of this series. If we see it, it's going to be a fun one. Again, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. I don't know what's going on with the lobby. We're all sitting here, but another break in store for us.
She let her walk off me. Picks up, down, picks up, all toes down. But she got me, cause she knocked me. And we got trees and I go down. Got me, I ain't it, she just sleep down. And later, I'm like that all the time. All the time, I'm you. Early in the morning, when I think about you. Yeah, I hit you like what you say. In the morning, when I wanna. I hit you like what you say. Early in the morning, when I think about you. I hit you like what you say. In the morning, when I for breakfast, that's how I start my day. My dick is a pen, it's written all over her face. I put my tongue in her mouth, I make them lips drool. She got that junk in the trunk, you know I like junk food. I tell her like this, life is good, man. Yo, better, but I put on that Magnum, I could go madam. And if it's sweet, then I'ma eat it till I get sugar diabetes. I'm a blood and she anemic, we perfect.
This series is starting to heat up. My name's Graf the Draft, joined by Conestoga Esports, going up against Ohio Cop for the first week of the College COD League. It's on the overload, in the exposure. I mean, Corpse, what have we seen from both of these two teams to get the 1-1.
Well, we've seen some incredible slaying prowess out of the side of Ohio COD late in the Blackheart to really kind of turn up the heat, as well as Conestoga, but it was 1 or 2 hills that early on that got Ohio COD that lead, and then honestly, Conestoga played a better search game. It was a Nib masterclass that took it over, and early here, Hazzy trying to make a name for himself.
As he is, but also Neb on the other side. This guy has hit his stride. 3-1. Ends up getting the triple and denying the score for the side of Ohio. And if there's one player that you're kind of looking at to step up in this series from either side, it's going to be Zuconix. He didn't necessarily have a bad map 1 or a bad map 2, but a little underwhelming at times. And then when you're looking at the other side, it's Mince and Savvy having a little bit of inconsistencies in some of these initial gunfights, but right now it's the submachine gun duo of Ohio in the respawns looking great.
Yeah, this is risky. Conestoga with a 4 dead coming into play. Neb is just going to run around with the device in his hands. Well, it's not his choice because he picked it up about a minute ago, and he's just been running around. His teammates have been finding the kills, and now you're going to get at least through the middle of the map. How are you going to respond if you're Ohio COD? Onyx, that's going to mount up. He got caught with some bad timing there. Hopping down from the ring side of thing. TJ finally finding the first kill of this map is going to slow things down, and now the device is just going to linger here on P5. Broby going to try and test the waters. It doesn't roll through, and Frizzard on the opposite side gets taken down as well.
It's always fun watching these little gunfights, everybody just hitting the wall bounce, and sadly, Savvy actually falls off the map, doing the best Clayster impression like he's on Black Ops 3, but the kills come through from Mince and Roby in the middle, getting a tad bit mixy, trying to be a nuisance for the side of Conestoga, but a 0-0 score, and on a map like Exposure, you were kind of calling it out, Corpse. It's not necessarily one where it's going to be high scoring, but it can be. But you typically see a 2-1, a 3-2. Nobody really getting over that 5-point marker, but currently it's the side of Conestoga. But Broby with a 2-piece denies him, but the final player picks it up, and then he gets the score. Broby gave it up, and oh no, a little bit of a mishap there from Ohio.
Oh, yeah, what are you doing? I know there's a delay when the player actually picks it up and, like, when they move around the middle of the map. Like, comms should have came through that it was a 3-man hit going through solar panels, especially with that person that was trailing through the middle of the map and what he found early on. But you did just enough to survive if you're Conestoga, and the Condors take a 1-0 lead. Broby clearing the path, though. He's on the 7. Can you find anything else? TJ covers you. The device scores right there, and we're all tied up.
Quickly, even though Broby, he kind of righted his own wrongs. He went on a 6 spree and I think earned a cruise. We'll have to go back and take a look at it. But the Frizzard of Oz having a rough go, sitting at 1-9 on the breadstick. The man is loving the free Olive Garden here at the moment. But Broby all the way up top. He's going to be the eagle in the perch. Can he find any kills? Happens to get one hop down, and he finds the second as well. This guy is tough to locate for the side of Conestoga. He is just absolutely everywhere.
I mean, he had Savvy turning around. He's like, hey, he's over here on P5, right? No, I'm behind you. I don't know what's going on, but some Daredevil mischief is now Mince is able to hold the line. And that's going to be a 3 dead for the side of Ohio COD. Mince pulling out the greatest Neptune spot ever. If you weren't tuning into the major, you wouldn't have known about that right there. Able to find a kill at range, and now maybe mounting up for an attack.
Mounting up for attack, but it's just back and forth. I think you're kind of playing recovery mode and playing triage because you do not want to allow them to pick up the bomb and get a score in the final 30 because it's just a tad demoralizing, even if they allow to get one. But everybody has slipped by, and I'm pretty sure he should be able to run this one through, not able to get there, and I said you don't want to have it scored in the final 30 seconds, and somehow Broby also wins the gunfight on the flank. He's 18-8.
Yeah, he's phenomenal right now, and he is keeping this team alive, at least when it comes to the kills and having presence through the middle of the map. They have another opportunity to score with 10 seconds left on the clock. TJ's going to hold up. It was Neb through the middle, trailing them, and the trade does happen, so now this clock is going to be reset with 30 seconds left. If TJ doesn't die, you're just allowing Broby and Zuconix to find the kills. They're going to try and activate, but somebody off spawn is able to stop you.
Too many angles to cover in that type of moment. It was a flurry. It was absolute chaos. and you weren't able to decipher where that final member was. Broby, I think he ends up getting that kill towards the outside, and it would have been the 3rd point on the board, but whoever got that last one came through for the side of Conestoga. A few members have just had slow starts. You have 2 members that are sitting, I think, around a 7-19. Blizzard of Oz is just not having a great start, or the Frizzard of Oz of 4-14. So hopefully he can pick it up here in this 2nd round.
Flizzard, Wizard, Blizzard. I don't know. A storm is going to be brewing right now on this overload. As I'm spitting bars, that shouldn't be happening.
Please don't do that again. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. Don't do that. Okay. Everybody who is listening, I'm sorry your ears had to hear that one. But so far, Savvy came through with 1, but Broby snaps, and he is just finding every single player. This guy just goes for the kills. I don't know if it's all about him just finding the kills. He doesn't get pushed up as much as he probably should, but you are helping out your team, just rapping back and saying, hey, we're just going to take you in these straight gunfights. And another score. The touchdown is in. The lead blocks was there, and now is a 3-1 up for the side of Ohio.
Are you able to keep up with this Bobcat squad that is on a tear now in this 2nd half in this map 3? They forgot about the search that they just played. And again, it's been off the backs of Broby, who's 24-9. Now has to be the only defender here. Shoulders, lets it regen just a tad. And a great job to play that 1v1 perfectly against Mins, who was trying to be the aggressor with the Jaeger. Now Nebov Spawn able to at least find the kill on the device carrier to slow things down. Frizzard trying to do just that. But it's Broby that gets across with the device. Here they go. They're going to mount up. He lays down. Suconix gets taken care of. And let's pause because that's going to be a nice hold out of Conestoga.
At Conestoga, I think Frizzard, he did the right thing. All he needed to do was just keep him pinched behind that tank, and he knew that there was just no support that was going to be able to transition quick enough. But unfortunately, you lose all the gunfights on the front end, but Frizzard of Oz is there. Can he do anything else? He's just getting so many tags. But then it is TJ Sways with the final nail. Can he get to the bomb in time? And he scores it at the buzzer. Mintz can't believe it. You have to fight back. You have to dig deep here if you're the side of Conestoga.
Some last-second scores that have happened from the side of Ohio. God, it's been a foot race off the people off spawn. And they have just won them, and so far, if you're Conestoga, you're maybe just looking at yourself. We're going to fight to the bitter end for defense, but are you overcommitting at times? They are going to put tooth and nail on the line, and Broby, hold on. Look at this. He cuts the whole map in half. He's able to score?
Oh my goodness, the man, what I love to say is put on the PF Flyers, and he was outrunning the Goliath, the dog in Sandlot, and he gets the final score. Like, that should be enough to, I think, put this game away. It isn't out of reach, but it is slowly but surely going in the favor of Ohio. And when you have Zuconix winning close range gunfights like that, getting the close range buff, it feels like at moments, it feels like this game's over.
Yeah, Zuconix putting you down and dirty as well with a nice turn and burn. Leaves it up to Broby to find the kill. The only time you'll catch him hanging is when he's trying to get nifty with some punches. And now you mount up. There's a minute 40 left, so technically it is doable. But with the amount of time that it has taken for you to score, I don't know if that's going to be the question for Conestoga.
And the question is what are you thinking about to do here in the map 4? You're thinking about that star horde point to get yourself to a map 5, because I think it almost is going to be impossible just with the reset time. Once the timer hits about a minute and 10 and you don't have a second score, this one is simply over. And guess what? You're going to park the bus. You're going to make sure all the kids are sitting and waiting until they're able to open up the door and let them out for school. And right now, Conestoga, they know it. This game's done.
Yeah, I think they just ended it. Yep, they ended the game. They didn't want to go through the park the bus mentality. The Ted Lasso is just a little bit too strong. And I don't know, there's something about Americans affecting other nationalities that it just doesn't sit well with them, I guess. Oh, that sounds pretty bad.
I'm kind of confused at what you're saying.
Well, because like Ted, no, I got you. Because ready, here's the reference. I'll clear the air. Ted Lasso was an American coach. went to coach
Mhm.
soccer, had a big influence. We're playing Canadians, having a big influence. I don't know, maybe. We'll see if it hits.
Hmm. I don't think it did. I think that you shot an arrow and you hit the outer ring. That's all I'm gonna say. Maybe for a short here and there, but let's kind of talk about what we have coming up. It's the Map Forest, the Scar Hardpoint, Ohio. They've just been looking dominant, I would say, in the respawns. They had some good moments in the search, but is this the moment where the side of Conestoga, if you play rotation heavy, it's just a matter of realizing where the hits are coming from and keeping track of the players
Yep.
because it feels like there's always one member of Ohio COD getting lost.
No, that is the biggest thing on Scar. And like you said as well, that it's just like Broby. We've highlighted his name before, especially on that exposure. He just seemed to get lost in the sauce, especially around the middle of the map. And even when he had the device, he seemed to be leaving everybody in the dust. However, don't count out the rest of this squad. Zukonix had his moments, Hazy as well. But it has been the early impact from Broby that has set this team on top. Neb has come alive from Conestoga, though. The Condors are trying to fight, but like you said, it needs to be a better performance from Savvy, the captain. It needs to be a better
Mhm.
performance from Frizzard, who was 7-20 at one point on that exposure. So again, you can shape up on Scar, there's plenty of times to do it. I think this is better, to be honest, for the Condors because, again, if you
Mhm.
slow it down and play rotational heavy, all you have to do is play for information and just trade out from there. So tighter setups will help them, and I think this is one that they can really get mixy on.
They absolutely can, and you're going to be relying on your ARs just a tad bit more. Hit that factory reset, wipe the slate clean, and say, guys, you know what? We didn't have a great map 1, we didn't have a great map 3, but kind of take what you had in that map 2 because you were simply waiting for each other. You were waiting to take some of those gunfights, and that's what you have to do here when it comes to the Scar. The P1, it's always going to be mixy. The P2, there's going to be a lot of nades, a lot of attacks, and so control the top side of a hotel. Make sure you always have one or two players kind of sliding across, and then your submachine gun can kind of play the lower side or behind one of the crates and just be bobbing up and down. Obviously, we don't want to see that snaking going back and forth, but you want to be able to get that confidence underneath your feet. And you were kind of saying it, Frizzer of Oz didn't have a great map 3, and when he's not having a game, you could kind of see the entire team was not on that same page. They didn't have that same elevated gameplay of everybody able to have those pop off moments, and you need those coming into the Scar.
Yeah, if there's one thing that you're looking towards though, it's Neb, right? We talked about him. Just went nuclear in the search, who was what like 10-5, I think, and then
Yeah.
also was a front runner in the KD department for the Condors in that map 3. And he's an AR. This is his map, right? Scar is you get to every heady. I mean, P2 is like motel, right? P3 is plain. P4, if you can just sit in top blue, you're going to do a lot of work. And then P5, top green as well. So this is his map. If he can get to those spots, he will make the big impact for this Condor squad.
And be that alligator in the brackish water. Be the one lurking beneath the surface. You gotta have a pop off or a pop off moment and then just pop out and find those kills. And when you're talking about a map like Scar, we've kind of beat the horse a few times with it, but just play the rotations. Be confident in your squad. Play together as a unit, and you can't allow Broby to have those three pieces. He's been finding them too frequently in the respawns. Shut Broby down. I think that's going to be your main goal here if you're the side of the Condors.
It's a hard thing to do because a lot
Mm.
of these hills are very sketchy when it comes to transitioning to them. I mean, look at P2, P3, right? Having to stretch the middle of the map, having to keep eyes on mid Delhi or when you move to that plane is one of the hardest tasks to getting your setup on a P2, P3 chain. And that's where Broby can make that impact. Or honestly, Zukonix as well. I've seen him get lost. I think in the exposure or the search a couple times, but it's going to be a hard test for the Condors. They can do the same. They're just going to have to match this Ohio squad like they did on the Blackhearts, and that's going to be a tough task because two different maps, two different parallels. But again, we're just waiting on these guys to get into the lobby. I hate doing this. We're going to send it to another break. Ladies and gentlemen, map 4, shortly.
Sit tight, watching the seasons go by, and I'm still holding on. Mark time, when far away you're running free while I'm tied down. Holding on, even though you walked away, I'm just waiting for the day you come back and wanna stay. Holding on, baby, I'm not gonna lie, I would move a mountain high just to get another try.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to this matchup. We are in the map 4. We are excited for it. It is Ohio COD with a 2-1 lead in this series. We are going to the Scar.
And has he already getting the kill with the Semtex right off the rip and had to dodge his own teammates to death, immediately backed up but gets his revenge. Avenges the teammate, but Mintz in kind of a do-si-do situation with his players there. Maneuvering around the Amtrak, couldn't find Broby in a big moment, a big kill for them as he's going to be able to hop onto the time. Should have a tablet of teammate support. He doesn't need to challenge out to the right. Now, this is where you just allow somebody to cover your left, and that's exactly what is going on. Number 4, Neb already going in through the fish market as they're securing a tab at a time, but I like what the side of Ohio is doing, not letting anything get flipped around. But unfortunately for them, number 1 gets a gifted spawn. That's going to be Mintz and Neb getting the P2.
Yeah, I don't think they were going to read that any day of the week. That's like a P4 spawn on Colossus. And just like that, it's going to happen, I think, for the side of Ohio COD. So that's going to be Azzy that actually gets gifted as well. This map right now, both teams, nobody having control of the P2. Hazzy finally cementing that with a nice 2-piece as he just drops down from the top ropes like John Cena, delivering a whatever move you can do in WWE. And now you're just going to try and stay alive on this P2.
I think the COD gods were just like, you know what, we kind of messed up on that spawn. Let's gift one back to the side of Ohio. But you're still sitting on in the point Broby with the AR. You don't see it in his hands very often. It's usually the drop. But as TJ sways, he doesn't need to do a whole lot here either. Just stay down and do not challenge out. But he's taking every gunfight he can on 3 in a row. Has 30 seconds. Neb playing the cutoffs, playing the exits, and he will happen to find that final member as you're going over towards the airplane, and this is going to be a great feed for the side of Conestoga.
Oh, and look at this. TJ hitting the route of a lifetime. Do you expect it? Nope. Here comes the pinch. He finds a second. Let me tell you, I was talking to this man. I think you were there for it when they were prepping for the Ashland match. He's like, give me triple Scar. I don't care what it is. I love playing this map. It must be a him thing, but he's already taking the lead. Oh, my days.
Oh, my goodness. Savvy says, sit back down, son. This might be my map. And you know what I love right now here, of course? Look at the score line for the side of Conestoga. Almost everybody neck and neck. So it shows that they are playing off of each other incredibly well. The only issue is you have 2 players that don't have a single second of hill time, but you get a clean 4 dead. You should be able to find the flip, and that's exactly what happens? They leave Neb in the 2v1, make it the 4v1, as you aren't going to be able to secure the final few seconds, but you have the rotation to nuke.
Yeah, Mints on the fourth spree is going to see all the eyes. You have the person spawning out. This is great timing out of Neb to get back into this gunfight. There's the second. That slows you down, and you're going to be spawning Ohio COD out. That's going to be perfect. There's one man to beat, though, and his name is Broby.
Oh, Broby, this guy just finding kills when he shouldn't. Not able to come away with the fourth, but he does enough damage. Him and Hazzy are able to come in with the reinforcements. The spawn out is in. He happens to grab one more. Frizzard of Oz going on the deep flank, and he needs to be able to find this. Happens to dodge the nade, and then what? Did Broby just spawn right in front of him? I'm not sure what kind of happened there. But Broby's like, what the hell just happened? Still doesn't matter. Ohio, they got the early break, and they're getting the time.
They are indeed. Savvy trying to contest. It's Broby that's trying to maybe contest even longer on the scrap time. Up for rotation you go. You're Mints. You're sitting in top green, but you get pinched. And now you got them spawning at old. This is going to be a good stretch for Ohio COD. Big thing to note, though, they've been getting broken quite easily. Conestoga, well, not easily, but when Conestoga's there and when they have responded with at least a core 4 and everybody on the front lines, they have been able to break you quite easily.
Yeah, and I love the angle that Broby's holding. He was watching the lower so that nobody could hop up onto Zuconix. The reinforcements are there, and you simply overwhelm with numbers. Zuconix with 5, and Neb, he's sitting on top, broken. Will he get caught out? No, he did. Oh, I thought he maybe caught out one. Not able to do so. Mintz has the help of one of his players looking over, but he doesn't even need it. 2 in the feed, the sponsor clip, the final 20 should be going to the way to the esports, but Savvy, can they come on in? Nades are starting to fly, and Hazzy is somehow made it out unscathed.
Yeah, on the 3 spree as well. That was a great hill for Ohio COD. The amount of times that there was just a clutch 1v1 that a player was able to solidify the hill in their favor, even when the contest time was happening, it was just the gunfight seamlessly going their way, and the damage was just being put into the side of the Condors. Mint's now trying to lock down this rotation to P1 and keep it on the right side of the minimap spawns for them. And that's something they did really well. Off the initial break, they did such a good job of playing through the bottom side of the minimap, as you should, because that's where P2 is.
Yeah, that's where P2 is. Broby, 23 and 13. Every single time, you just see him popping off in the feed. The guy is a walking 2-piece. As he's going to be holding on to Fish Market, throws out a preemptive Semtex. His teammates are finding the kills. Doesn't matter. Somebody's going to try to slip on through, but Hazzy there for 3. The 4th is about to fall, but Frizzard of Oz gets a little frisky with it. Catches out 1. He's just trying to hold on to the P2 side.
Zuconix trying to stay alive as well on the P2. And you have blown this game wide open. If you're Ohio COD, Neb gonna sit here on new and maybe find some time. Everybody flying through the middle of the map. Trades happening. Frizzard finds 2, and now you're gonna set up Mintz, who's starting to have a series as well. We talked about him trying to be him being a little bit quiet. 18 and 15 on the AR roll. Again, you slow things down. You get to those power spots. You just protect your teammates. That is what it's looking like. But Neb is gonna have to deal with the whole squad of Ohio starting to charge him, and there's the amendment break.
Yeah, and Savvy, though, he's just trying to hold them off, play the respawn, play the reinforcements, and yep, he's just going to hop on in, throw down the trophy, make sure that he has the assistance, but TJ Sway's on the quick flank, will happen to find one, and then the rest of the reinforcements are there from the side of Ohio. And what have they done so well here, Corpse, is even if they don't win the rotation, they are always contesting the time for the final few seconds.
They are indeed. You got a man like this who shoots beams out of his M15 to really put the pressure on the other ARs from Condors, as now they're going to try and stretch the map. This is what they did last time. Have a great setup on a P2 or P3, and it was just Ohio that hit every single route, every single flank, and just came in so seamlessly. As Hazzy's just going to do that. He finds the win on Frizzard somehow, and you lose playing heady. Mintz is going to chow out with the Jaeger, but that's not going to roll through. Savvy through the middle of the map. There's the 2nd, maybe the 3rd. Oh, it happens, and Savvy's so smooth.
Oh, big with it, and that is a huge three-piece, because if you lose that and you don't come away, that is a lot of time going to the side of Ohio, but unfortunately, you're getting ripped off these headies, and you can't be having that happen as Savvy comes in, wins another, has the help of Nev watching over, or excuse me, on the point, staying alive, making it Mixie, who once again have the rotations to the P4, and TJ come away with the final gunfight, but you need a full 60 hold if you're the side of Conestoga.
Oh, you need it indeed. And again, they were here first on a P4, but it was a quick 4 dead that spawned them out. Frizzard, he pops, he finds the first. The wall hop gets the second. One man to beat. It's Hazzy that's in there. Can he be like swimwear? Can he be in the top and just, you know, wedge up into these corners? Hazzy isn't able to find much. However, he bought his team enough time. You hunted down Hazzy. The rest of the squad of OU is in the front side. There's one man to beat. It's Broby in the backside. He's able to find a kill. Zukonix comes to his aid. Everybody's starting to be spawned out now for Conestoga, and there's the break.
Oh, Broby once again, even if it wasn't finding the kills, he was staying alive, being annoying, but a few members are still there for the side of the Condors. They can make this one interesting. They get a few dead in the feed. Can they get the final 15 seconds? And they desperately need it. Neb goes out for a challenge, won't be able to find it. Savvy on the exit gets cut down, and it looks like the side of Ohio going to come away with the final 10, but you are winning the rotations for Conestoga. That is the great thing. You just haven't been able to find this hole, but Mince, this is the moment. What can he spot? Not able to get any, and maybe a little bit more of a patient play there might have paid off.
Yeah, and the one thing to note as well, the setups for Condors, just they back up so far to where they leave these little margins to the middle of the map, and we talked about it. Those are the little margins that OU are going to take advantage of as they get gifted a god spawn in the back here on P5. Everybody in the deepest, darkest corners of this map, and it just helps them so immensely. TJ, Zukonix come to each other's aid, and just like that, they are able to hold this P5.
In Ohio, can they hold it for the final 20? Because they are knocking on the series door of trying to end it in a 3-1. Broby trying to call the series here and now, but it's Zukonix putting the hammer down as he is 27 and 28, 4 in a row, 5 now as they are going to break that 227 marker. They go with the P1. Frizzard Vaz coming away with 1. Oh, and his teammates follow up. So this is the moment. They know where the final player is. Nothing is getting mixy. Neb comes away with the kill. Now all eyes towards front.
Oh, Savvy just spotted nobody. Savvy ran back and forth, and everybody was underneath him. Trades happening again. Condor have their setup. They have the side that they want to be spawning on continuously. There is one man to watch, though. His name is Broby. He was able to get in through Delhi, hit a flank, and now everybody collapses. A 4-for-1 trade, and that has been the type of map it's been for Condor.
Yeah, they just haven't been able to get into a hold or a placement where they feel comfortable to lock down more than 20 seconds of time, and that is going to be their downfall. One thing to be able to work on, Zukonix just snapping in, but 2 seconds, it feels like this game is already over. You go out for the chow, but you lose some gunfights, and the Prisoner of Oz, you gotta go, you have to move, and you cannot be staying in the hill. Somebody's gotta go in and contest. They actually might have a chance here, so 2 seconds. TJ Sway's up top, but comes away with absolutely none. So hold the phone here, Corbs. This game ain't over.
There's no way. Hold on. Hazzy's almost able to break it, and he grants his team one more point. Everybody mount up. The Bobcats are gonna try and do this in one fell swoop, and just like that, there's 2 in the feed. Make it a third. One more final kill, and you're able to find it. Ohio put the dagger in the heart for map 4. And they win it 3-1.
And it was just simply finding your routes, finding your openings, and guess what? Broby dropping 35 plus 4,700 damage. And this was a disgusting 3-piece. Had no right to win it, but he was snapping onto every single member in almost an identical score from the map 1. Map 1 was 250, 196, and they just did it with 1 less second left on the clock as Ohio get it done in a 3-1.
Oh, they do indeed, Graf. They do indeed. The chat's going to be thinking, hey, where's the interview? You want an interview? Chat, you want an interview? All right, give me a second because it's going to take, like, there's a delay. So, you know, I'll see your responses in a little bit. But again, you look at this series, and it was just the map one. It gifted us a thriller, and map two was even better. We thought this was going to be maybe a map five in the makings. It almost went there, but it was a tough one for Condors. It seemed like you were there every map, but you were just out of it in the final third.
And yeah, I would love to bring in TJ Sways. I think he being the new guy on the team, I would love to kind of hear his thoughts on, his first day of matches with the new squad with the Ohio COD roster, obviously only coming on about 2 weeks ago. So I'm kind of curious to hear his thoughts. But Corpse, Ohio, they've always been good at the respawns, but the search and destroy, it still seems like they have some things they got to work on.
They do indeed. But again, to note, the one highlight Bro B respawn. Map 1. Map 2, well, that was a search that was kind of You gave that away 6-3. Map 3, Bro B slays out. Map 4, Bro B slays out. I don't know what else you want me to say, man. This guy's phenomenal. The whole squad backs him up, though. I'll say that much. Like, TJ on map 4 started highlighting as well. Hazzy's always a solid player, and so is Zuconic. So the foundation is there, and it's just not you can't focus so much on Broby. You have to focus on all the other pieces as well. And speaking about the other pieces, Graf called for him. TJ's here.
DJ, hey, I'm glad that you can join us. Coming off of another series win, you are kind of being the new guy on the roster. How have you fit in with the squad so far?
I mean, they already got their chemistry. They kind of know how they want to play. My job, I'm the main AR. Just kind of I enable them. Broby's a shooter. Broby's gonna drop 90 every map if you let him. So that's all you got to do. You just got to hold the spawns and make sure he can get active on the map.
I do
Not,
absolutely love it. And Corpse, you were kind of just talking about Broby having those,
oh, yeah.
those three respawn maps. But TJ, kind of tell us about what went wrong in the search and destroy. You guys were up 3-0, then you dropped six straight. What were you guys kind of talking about, and what do you think you have to work on to kind of improve that mode?
I mean, that's like probably the second or third time we've played S&D together. So I mean, we just got to kind of figure out our strats and how we want to play the maps. They kind of were just letting me make the play calls, and it didn't go in our favor. And then those guys started playing super ratty because they knew their gunnies couldn't hang. So I mean, that's how it just went.
And I wanna go a little bit off the series, but again, you being the new guy, having to come in and you kind of learn from your teammates. What are some interesting things that you've learned about the three guys up in the other call right there?
Uh, So I mean, Broby, I've known Broby since 2019. He's a chill guy, and like I said, he's a shooter for sure. Hazzy and Zook, like you never really know with those guys. Like they can be the cement or they can be the slayer of the team. So, like Zook had his map where they got scared and they had to end the map because we were about to park the bus on him and he was frying, dude. He was about to drop like 50 on him or something. And then Hazzy same way. I mean, when he's on all cylinders, you never know if him or Broby's just gonna fry.
All right, well,
I couldn't have said it any better there, TJ. And I know you guys coming away with that 3-0 in the first series and a 3-1 in the second series. I'm excited to see what you guys can do for the rest of the season. But once again, I do appreciate you kind of coming on in and giving us your thoughts. But is there anything you want to say to the fans or anybody watching out there?
Uh, I know that everybody on our team is kind of upset with the rankings that they gave us. So I mean, whenever we come out and we're top five in the country,
Oh,
don't be surprised.
oh, those are some fighting words right there against those. Oh, that's a lot. But TJ, enjoy the win. Go back up to the boys, celebrate.
Yes,
I don't
sir.
know, go to a couple bars. So.
Yeah, we're having a beer after this. So yes, sir.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was TJ Sways, the newcomer to the Ohio squad. And again, those are some bold words to say in the CCL, which got
top five.
some stack squads, bro.
Yeah, we'll kind of have to see. I mean, they are 100% a top 25 team. They deserve to be in there, especially with how good they have been at their respawns. And if they clean up their search and destroy, you kind of heard them say it. This was only their second or third series they've even played a search map together. So if you clean that up, obviously you're going to be a top contender in the CCL. And if there is a region you want to play top teams, it's absolutely this one that they're currently in.
Yeah, the Northeast. Wait, I'm blanking on the name because there's so many Norths. Northeast Great Lakes, if I'm not mistaken. And I'll tell you what, the top four that I'm looking at already, Ohio Cod is up there, but you got
Mhm.
Buckeye Cod as well. You got St. Clair's varsity squad, I think, which is like Neum and a couple other players. Northwood is going to be a contender this year. And yeah, there's some tough nuts to crack in this one. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to send it away for the night. Stay tuned. The weekly Monday matchups, Graph and Corpse will be doing our best to provide them for you. We love you. Stay safe. Peace.
Bro B.
Roby.